everybody. Welcome to another episode of Altar Call. As always, I'm your host, Tane, here to talk about The Traitors, Season 4, Episode 10. And all season long, I have had fun guests along the ride with me. And today's guest is a first-timer on the pod. And it's Noor from the Reality Is podcast. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to talk about Traitors.
I'm excited to have you, and I hope, I will try not to meow at you and pretend like I'm Rob and get you all excited.
Let me tell you, okay, his white boy charm has really thrown off of me because here's the thing, okay, about Rob is it's cool when you're like into yourself and you're like, confident.
Mhm.
But this episode, him coming in being like, I'm sad. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Okay. Don't be sad. That I was like, that is a turnoff. That is an ick. That reminded me of when Rob jumped into the pool on his season of Love Island and hid under a bridge. I was like, grow up. Okay.
We've seen it before. And that's the fun part of the different guests I've had all season long. Some who are familiar, some who are not. And I think I told someone that, Rob went to a pool and actually hid on there. And it's like when you're saying it out loud, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound.
It's not even a little bit hot. Yeah.
So, but I get it. I get the charm of Rob. I know people are saying, oh, we're diminishing him as a traitor. I am not. All I'm saying is in addition to his skills, he comes with preset factory settings that help him along the way. That's all.
Yeah.
You know?
He has default settings that work very well in the environment that we live in. And I'm glad you said that because there's a lot of people, anytime you say Rob is a good traitor, they're like, oh, that is, diminishing what Suri did. I'm like, no. We can accept that in this season of this show, Rob is doing quite well for himself. But when it comes to the best traitor that I've seen on US Traitors, of course, that is season 1. That was amazing. Watching those normies freak out and get upset with her because she was like, okay, the game is that I'm supposed to convince you that I'm one of you and then take the money. That's the whole game. I thought there's no one better than her for sure. But this season, I think Rob's playing a really good game. And I saw this thing online that somebody said, and I think it's probably true, is that I think that your fame has a lot to do with it because the rest of the cast, they're like, this is just some guy from Love Island. They're not thinking anything about Rob being famous enough to ever be cast as a traitor. They're thinking it's going to be a housewife. They thought it was Donna Kelsey. They think it's going to be Johnny Weir, an Olympian. They're not thinking that it's going to be some dude who makes out on his show and wears overalls without underwear on.
And that's part of the things that's helping his game. It was also a non-gamer season. It's not a season where there's not a lot of gamers left. There were not gamers in the turret. So all these things are helpful in addition to his charm and him thinking strategically and playing all that. So these are all the things. So we'll see what happens because if someone clocks him at the very end, I can understand the frustration, all the work he did and someone took it, but I'm not going to be mad at it. I'm okay. I'm okay with the twist.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Okay. For the listeners who aren't familiar with you, can you share your history with Traitors as a TV show?
Oh my God. I only started watching season 1. I was like, what is this silly show? What is this accent? What is this castle? I watched season 1, really loved it. I actually do enjoy when they put normies and celebs together. I think that's really fun. But I think from the US side, I've really enjoyed season 2 onward, 2, 3, and 4 were last season was amazing. Traitors actually also got me into other shows. So I never watched Big Brother, but I started watching Big Brother because of Traitors. I watched a season or 2 of Survivor back in the day, but now I suddenly know all these CBS people that I never got into. So I love Traitors. I think that every single season I am so damn entertained. I will say until the very end. At the end, I'm always like, oh God, just fucking end the show already. I always get so bored by the end. Last season was really fun because it was very clear that Team Faithful was going to take it. Yeah. But I think one of the funniest things about Traitors that always cracks me up is that the prize pot is so small. Yeah. The prize pot, they're you're going to go home with a stick of gum and $600 at the end of it. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it's so important for Traitors to win because it's actually not a lot of money to split amongst people. Like I
Yeah.
know the season when I would think it was season 2 when CT and
CTN.
Trishelle did that shit to MJ Mercedes. I was like bummed for her. Of course, I understood why MJ was mad, but I also understood why CT and Trishelle had to split it because they're like, bro, this is not a lot of money. Like it's like $70,000 or something. Like it's not that much money for us to be splitting. After taxes, we're taking home, like I said, a stick of gum and $500. Like it's not a lot.
That is very true. That is very true. So maybe they will think about, since the popularity of the show, maybe upping the price pot.
I would hope so. I would hope that because there's going to be a regular People Traitors season, right?
Yes.
That's coming up.
Yes.
Did you apply for it?
No. I would never be on reality TV. I will talk about it all day long. But if there was one, though, funny enough, really random, I was driving today and I was thinking about it. I was like, what if I did something crazy and actually applied for that? How would I do? Because I'm out here criticizing these poor people from my couch. And what if I'm in that environment? But I take myself out because I could not do the missions. That's it. I just throw me down the hill or roll me down. But
I would be like Eric and Tara. I would come up with a reason for why I can't do every mission. I'd be like, you know what? My hips can't. Ooh, I have my period today. I can't. Yeah. Like I would come up with so many reasons. I'd be like, the medication I'm on just like does not allow it. Like I would be like, was it Dolores last season? I'd be like, Dolores, like I'm just here. I'm just here. I'm just here hanging out. Like that's what I would do. Yeah, exactly.
I had a coworker tell me that he wanted to apply for either Survivor or Traitors. And I told him the other day, and I was like, you're going to regret telling me that because my mission now is to get you on either one of these shows. Like we are going through your application together, you know?
Yeah. So my problem with Traitors, and I think this would be your problem also with Traitors, is that we are 2 women of color and we would get killed or voted off immediately
in the beginning. Yeah, you know. So, you know, it will be truly for the experience. I'll be there and I'll be like, see who I'll meet, make lifelong friends like they always do. And
subscribe like, to my podcast.
Get the behind the scenes and share that with the listeners. So
yeah, exactly.
Traitors. Okay, so you don't watch any of the international
no, I tried watching Australia, I think once, and then but I have been told I need to watch UK. I do know that what's his name? His buddy, Rob's buddy. Aaron won UK.
Yes.
I also know that UK, they're not even messing around with the racism on UK.
You know, it's so funny because we in America are the people who are direct about it, and Europeans are kind of like they tiptoe around it. And back to back every season I see it, I get frustrated. And they were interviewing some people of color. There were biracial people. There were mother and daughter duo that no one knew while during the game. And they were like, oh, how about the unconscious bias? What's going on? And then absolutely not. It did not exist. It's not happening. That's not the case inside there. And she's saying everything that's defining an unconscious bias, but saying, nope, we don't have that here. So I almost put that up to be like, does that mean something different in the UK? Because I don't know, but it's not to them. So it's just a very weird dynamic because we're saying it, but they're not agreeing with us that that's the case.
I agree. And I think like in general, even when like I mean, I'm from Jersey, like people shit on Jersey because they're like, oh, people are so abrasive up north, like New Yorkers and New Jersey's like New Jersey and like they're so abrasive. But the thing is like, we're not going to bullshit you. I've been to UK and Europe quite a bit. And the thing that I noticed in every place except for Italy. In Italy, they mean it. They're sweet as fucking hell. Okay. I always say the culture of New Jersey is Italy. So I feel like it's the same. But I feel like in London, the thing I noticed was they say all the words to be polite, but there's actually no feeling behind it. They're just saying the words to like get you out of their face, you know? Yeah. But like they don't actually genuinely mean to be kind. I feel like up here, especially in like the tri-state area where I'm from, I feel like people are abrasive until they're not. And then when they're nice to you, they genuinely mean it. Like if I'm going to use my words to be kind to you, I mean it. Like, and I feel like that directness that you just said in America, like that's the difference is I think that in Europe, in the UK, like they find other ways to swim
To dance
around,
around it. Yeah.
yeah, what they're saying. But like when you're that person, a person of color, when you're a minority in the room, you're like, I know what's happening. I'm calling out what's happening. And you guys are saying that you're not because you're not using those words. Like,
Yeah.
no, you're still
Yeah.
doing it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. I haven't watched Australia. Everyone says that's good. Australia, New Zealand, and I think Ireland just came out. I haven't watched that either. But I'm the opposite to you in that I like the mix of celebrity stars because for me, because I watch them all, I just love
Yeah.
seeing all of them in
Yes.
one room and
Yeah.
it's just fun to watch. Okay. So I ask my guests these questions every time they come on my show. So I'll ask throughout the show. But the first question is, can you tell us three players that you were not familiar with before the season that now you're like, oh my God, I want to know more of you? And it could be people who are banished or killed.
Oh my God. Okay. The three players that I didn't know a lot about that I would love to know more about this season. Unfortunately, I'm a sicko and I knew almost every single person there. I guess I would like to know more about Eric Nam. I don't know
Okay.
anything about him,
Mm-hmm.
besides the fact that he's a nervous Nelly. He's shitting his pants. I think that if this season, I think if Rob had kept Candace and they had come to the same page, Rob
Yeah.
wouldn't be so stressed out right now. Rob is stressed out because he basically has this ball of nerves next to him as
Yeah.
his partner, and it's not helping. So I would like to know more about Eric Nam. One thing about him is that if you ever mention anything about him on your social media, you get bombarded with all these people that like leave a lot of comments like pro Eric Nam. They're like, my baby, my love, Eric Nam. I'm like, who is this
Yeah.
K-pop? I don't understand it. I don't
Yeah.
understand. So I'd like to know more about him.
Okay.
You know, I always knew about Johnny Weir and Tara Lipinski. Like I did
Mhm.
know, I grew up in like the
Yeah.
80s and 90s. Like I know who they are.
Yeah.
But it was really fun to see both of them be on TV together like this.
Mhm.
Like it's fun to see them there, like, and then fun to hear them like doing commentary during the Olympics and everything.
Mhm.
I mean, this episode pissed me the fuck off with them, but I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, I guess I could go with, and I mean, I knew about Ron Funches, but
Yes.
like, I love him now. Like,
Yes.
I think we should protect him at all costs. You know, I'm
Yes.
going to say this. I'm going to say Johnny Weir, Eric Nam, and Ron Funches. I think those are the three that I like.
Okay.
I'm like a fan of theirs now.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going back straight into the episode, and it is breakfast time. And Mara and Rob in overalls, but he did wear a shirt this time because it is cold. I don't know why you're walking around shirtless in Scotland. We get it.
Yeah.
And they walk in, and Mora's like, how the heck are we still here?
Yeah.
And I want to know more on Rob's strategy when it comes to Mora because I said it, I don't know, sometimes I record and I don't even remember what I said, but I think I said something like, what is he planning to do with Mora? Like, I think like maybe I would have killed her, but I don't know.
Yes.
What is his plan from his point of view in keeping her around?
Yeah, I feel like he has an ally in Mora. Like he knows that that's a vote that's never going to go against him, right?
Mhm.
So he already has that dagger, and then he knows like he's always going to have Mora on his side.
Yeah.
But you know, she said at breakfast, she said, the thing is, I really trust Rob, right? Like she loves him so much. Like, but I think that if I was in Rob's position,
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons why he's stressing out might be because at the end, if it's Mara as part of the faithfuls and Rob, he is going to have to tell her, like, by the way, I've betrayed you this entire time, right?
Yeah.
And Mara says later on to like Tara, when Tara's freaking out, like, no, it's just a game, it's just a game. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I think that would be devastating for you to have a friend who lied to you for like 10 days, you know, like that's
Mhm.
got to be a bummer. I don't know what his strategy is at all with Mara, besides the fact that he knows that's a vote he can count on. And I think that because there's no further banishment voting,
Yeah.
that's why at the end, not to jump ahead, I think
Yeah.
that that's probably who's getting murdered.
But getting murdered is going to be okay.
Yeah.
On the more messy side, though, do you think they are smashing?
I don't think they're smashing because Mara Higgins has apparently a very hot boyfriend. And I think that
A taken one?
oh,
I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true.
I don't know, but I think that I'm not sure. I don't think that they are smashing. I think that Rob is trying to charm Mara, but Mara to me feels like she'd be like, fuck off, Rob. Like, if he tried to like fuck with her, like fuck her, she would be like, no. Like, I think that Mara is using Rob in the same way that Rob is using
Using
Mara.
her.
Yeah.
At the very beginning of the season, I was convinced that they were because I didn't know the timeline of her boyfriend, whether
Yeah.
when they filmed, whether they were together or not. But also, it's not the DNA of the show to show us any antiques or anything that's going on outside of the
Outside.
castle. So
Hmm.
we'll never know. Um,
I
more.
think I think by the way, there's a higher chance that Rob and Colton fucked than Mara and Rob fucking.
What? Okay, that's a 0 point. That's a different way to say 0 point because he's also married. The kid.
Mm.
So there's that. So
Mm.
wow.
I saw the googly eyes Colton made at Rob. Okay.
Well, it's like a look, but you can't touch situation. Yeah. Okay.
I think that Mara does not give googly eyes to Rob. I think just she feels safe like a brother to
Yeah.
Rob. But Colton gave googly eyes and Rob gave googly eyes back to Colton. Like a little heated rivalry situation, if you know what I mean.
That is Nora's current obsession, guys, in case.
You know what?
You didn't know.
I will say this. The magic has worn off. Okay. It's official because the people are too annoying. So I'm like, you know what? I'm reading a new book. I'm obsessed with Punch, the monkey in Japan. I've moved on. Okay. That's it.
Okay. All right. Maura shares how she doesn't trust people, but she trusts Rob fully. Yeah. And the finale is tomorrow. And I think they're sharing all this for whatever is about to happen, which is either she gets murdered or he's going to tell her I'm a traitor at the end, because we also get a couple of shots where he says something and Maura's like, what's going on? I think they're setting us up for something. I'm just not sure what yet. So Rob says he's feeling low, and I don't know if anyone notices. He looks sleepy, or like he just woke up. And I've said this before in the Celebrity UK Traitors. One of the things that they sussed out was like, who's always tired, because the traitors have to stay up later than everyone else. And they clocked one of the traitors because they were like, she's always lying on the couch trying to get a nap, trying to get some sleep. Wow. So that's people actually playing the game. Grasping for actual evidence, not what we're seeing right now with these faithfuls. But Rob just actually looks like he needs some sleep, or maybe he is stressed, because I think his source of stress right now is there's no place to hide right now. There's very few people left, and now Candace's vote might make sense, and it's like, okay, I gotta work harder, because practically, I don't want to say he's coasting, but it's been pretty easy to just move around and make his way through. But now with less people, it's harder to hide. So I think that's his stress level, and realizing like, I'm going to have to lie to these people who really trust me. Because each one of them think that Rob is their number one, except Johnny and Tara. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he says the lying and scheming is taking a toll on him, and it's hard for him to use their emotions and feelings to play the game. Mark and Eric come in, and Eric says the last person he wanted to sit beside was Mark. Eric is having a hard time, guys. Like
Eric is having a hard time, guys. He is. Oh my God. We heard Eric say 3 words this episode. Thank God that he won that mission later, because he did nothing. And it cracked me up when he was like, fuck, I have to sit next to this person and actually try to
talk. You would think that he would learn his lesson after being called out for not saying anything, like just some words, just throw out anything, but not dead silence. Like, that's not the way to go. So he's hoping that the suspicion is off him, and Mara tells them like she doesn't trust Johnny and Natalie. Those are who her suspicion is on. Like, Mara has just been wrong the entire season.
Entire time.
So, and Rob keeps saying like, I think Natalie's dead. I'm like, okay. Tara walks in, and she's just like, listen, my radar is off. I'm embarrassed. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, again, self-awareness is key, but Johnny comes in, and I really like what he was wearing. And I was going to ask you, who is your best dressed this season? It's not Natalie, but who's your best dressed?
Now I I will say this. If I had the body that Natalie has, I would
Yeah.
wear whatever the fuck I want. She rolls in looking like an Amazonian queen every
Yeah.
single episode. I'm like, now would I wear that out in the wild? Certainly not. I just clear you did not consult with a stylist, but
Yes.
shout out to you to showing off those guns every single episode.
Yep.
I think fashion wise, I really did enjoy whose fashion do I think was really good? I'm loving Maura Higgins' fashion. I think hers is really good. She's
Mhm.
had some weird wigs. The hats are a little crazy. They're gigantic, but I think I would say Maura and Johnny's fashion are probably my favorites this season. How about you?
Okay. Monet. We didn't get
Oh
to see
yeah,
enough of
we didn't get to
Monet's.
see enough Monet. That's the
Yes.
problem.
Yeah, but I think Monet. Johnny's there. Mara is, but that hair. And she's wearing big hats because she's wearing stiff wigs, and she's, to me, I feel like she's not wearing a wig cap. So her hair is not laying flat. So it's
Yes.
just poofed up, and then she's putting the hat to cover it. And all I want to know is what's wrong with her hair? Or is it not having a hairstylist and she doesn't know how to do hair? But why are we wearing these stiff wigs? It's bothering me.
Because she has really nice hair. I
Yeah.
looked it up because I was like, is she? I mean, I've got alopecia. I'm like, is it an alopecia situation? Like, what is it? And I looked it up. I'm like, Maura Higgins has
Yeah.
beautiful hair.
She does.
Like,
Yeah.
what is going on? I
Yeah.
think it probably is they don't know how to style it. Like, I think she has curly hair, and I think that she doesn't know what to do with curly
it.
hair, so
Yeah.
she's just throwing out these dumb wigs. But like, wear a cap. Wear a
Yeah.
wig cap.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
going
yeah.
on?
I don't
Yeah.
know. She should have taken lessons before she came. But it is a well-dressed cast because also
is.
every time I list people, I think of other people because Kristen
Yes.
Kish is there.
Oh,
She
oh,
slayed.
You know
with
what?
all of
You know what?
that.
I take it all back. I take it all back. It's Kristen Kish. It's Kristen Kish. I wasn't thinking about her this
Yeah.
week because obviously, but like, yes, it's
Yes.
100% Kristen Kish, her fashions, her
Yes.
look, everything, her makeup, her hair, everything. I was like, oh my God, she's so incredibly hot. Like, you don't have gay, straight, bi, asexual. It does
Yeah.
not matter. You look at that woman and you're like, damn, that is a hot human being. She's
Yep.
so fine.
Absolutely. Straight from Top Chef. I've been like,
Mhm.
wow, Kristen. Wow, well done.
Yeah.
And also, not all the time, but Rena's looks, especially when she had those boots and the shorts, it's like way off. But I was like, I'm digging this. It's not for everyone, but she wore it well.
There's
will
like that
say
sound going viral right now of her being like, couture, honey, look at the tags. It's couture. They're like, really? It doesn't look couture. And it's like, well, I guess it is because Rena said it is. Yeah.
Oh man, someone said something on Threads, and I was just like, yeah, Traitors is like a rehab center. People come here and rehabilitate whoever
Yes.
you were, and it's like almost we
Yes.
forget like who you were. So yeah,
Except for Michael Rappaport. Nobody, that did not help him. No.
I said rehab, not like reconstruct. No, like no. No, I think I said something like Rena, like I enjoyed Rena here in Traitors, but I do not want her back in Beverly Hills. And
No.
my mentions went on for weeks on end. Speak for yourself. We don't. I was like, all right.
Well, you are, yes, actually, that is what you're doing. You are speaking for yourself. That's the point.
Exactly. So, anyways, they tell them about, the whole Jack in the Box, which they didn't spend that much time on that. We just got a
They
flashback.
really didn't. Yeah.
And Natalie walks in not breakfast attire, but she looked nice. Actually, this was one of the better looks. I'm gonna say it just wasn't breakfast attire. And so we find out that Kristen is who was murdered, which was expected. Like we had a feeling that it was going to be Kristen. So Rob says like, all the suspicion will come from Mark, but he's talking to Eric but they can convince him and they need to banish Natalie tonight. And Rob is like, listen, I'm defeated. And this is just more validation that the time length of the show is just right because they are at the point where they're like, get me home. Like,
yes.
You can see like everyone is just, how much longer are we doing this for? I gotta go. Yeah. So this is good. Okay. So Tara has a realization. She's like, oh my God, it's not Natalie. And I want to know what gave her that realization. I hate when we don't get a story.
I know.
Don't give me an exclamation point without whatever it is that is making you exclaim. So you've been so bad at this game. You're down on yourself for all this. You suddenly realize it's not Natalie. What is the thing that made you realize this? So she pulls Natalie aside and says, do you think it's Rob? And Candace, threw out Rob's name, and I'm like, finally, we are
Mhm.
getting somewhere. And who knew it'd be Tara? Of all the
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
who knew it would be her? She said she's had the slight suspicion about Rob, and we know she's not lying because if you guys remember the last mission when they were in the boxes, when they said, "Who do you think is most likely to be a traitor?" She's the only person who wrote down Rob's name.
Yep.
So she's being consistent on there. And then Natalie starts saying, I ask myself the question, why am I here? And they ask themselves these questions all the time. And I was listening to a pod where a good point was made. I didn't think about that. It's like, if you're here this late in the game, it's because you're doing something wrong. It's not because
Yeah.
you're good. So I'm glad that Natalie clocked that is like, okay, I'm here because I'm not looking in the right direction
Yes.
for that.
Yes. Yeah.
So Tara says, everyone loves Rob, everyone trusts him. And my thought was like, did she tell Natalie before Johnny? I thought she would tell Johnny. Why is she telling Natalie first?
Mhm. Mhm.
And Natalie says, we need to talk to Mara about Rob. And I'm like, why? Mara is basically his pocket. Like, why are we telling Mara? She's gonna just tell him. So I didn't understand that.
Yeah, I was like, go to Mark first. Go to Mark first. And then also, literally the night before Mark, Kristen said, if I die, it is Eric. And you notice at the round table later that Eric said no words. Yet here you are saying not a damn thing and then being like, maybe it is Eric. Like, this is, I was like so frustrated with Mark. I was like, your buddy just told you if I get murdered, it's probably Eric. And what did
Yeah.
you do? Nothing. You
Yeah.
did nothing. You had one conversation with Eric where he kind of just like barely defended himself. To be honest, didn't even you. I'm sure you wrote down what their conversation is, but it was very confusing. I was like, why is Tara pulling? Why are they pulling Mara? It doesn't make sense. They should not be pulling Mara. They should be pulling Mark and Johnny and making sure that the four of them are at least aligned to have at
Mhm.
least a tie, you know?
Yeah. They should have. So Mark goes to Rob and is like, it's not you, right? Like you're not, because all my people are gone except you. I'm like, okay, I'm just
Guys.
gonna remember that we know the traitors, they don't.
Yes,
We know
yes.
the traitors, they don't. I'm just gonna say that to myself over and over again. And Rob is like, we just have to look. And Rob says, like, we have to vote for Natalie. And Natalie voted for Tara when Candace was the obvious vote. So they
Yeah.
pull Mara and they wonder, like, oh, why are we here? And like, ugh, I don't want to hear anybody else ask, why are we here? You're
Mm-hmm.
here because you're here. Just move on and let's figure out what else is happening. And she asks, why do you think Candace mentioned Rob? I'm like, okay. Why do you think so? And Mara's like, because she's just being consistent. And this consistent theory is just driving me nuts. I mean, Candace brought it on herself, but
Yes.
you're allowed to change your mind. You're moving with the game. I don't see it as something so strong, but some of the guests that I've had, they think that it is something like a strong evidence of something. I'm just like, it doesn't
It's
mean anything to me after Ron is voted out.
Yeah, it really doesn't mean anything, especially because she keeps being like, oh, she was consistent, but she also would do a throwaway vote. It's her throwaway vote. I'm like, okay, what is it? Is it that she was consistent or is it that it's a throwaway vote? Like, it has to
Yeah.
be something, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah, she was consistently against this person. Also, everybody's forgetting that Rob voted Lisa Rinna after all of that painstaking, like, Alan had to tell him, hey, Rob, you got to put something down. The time
Yeah.
is up. You have to put a name down. Y'all
Mhm.
forget about that?
Yeah.
Like, Rob had a hard time voting out Lisa Rinna and then happily voted her out the next episode. And then he voted
Mhm.
out Candace. And you're all going to act like, oh, Rob, that was just a throwaway vote on Candace's part. Like, please use your goddamn brains.
That's all we ask. But
Yeah.
Mara says, like, yeah, it can't be Rob because, again, if it is Rob, I'm going to drop dead if he is a traitor.
I
And,
will run out of the castle.
but this is the thing. If Rob is already feeling guilty, right? And he already feels bad and this is his friend, why don't you just murder her now versus the
Yes.
fire pit? Like, and
Yes.
watching her face to face feeling betrayed. If you get rid of her, that was the game. It wasn't just me. There were other people in the turret.
Yeah.
Something like just get rid of her if that's what you're planning to do. So I'm kind of leaning towards her being, like you said, the one being murdered now. But I
Yeah.
don't know. Mark is also close, so I don't. It could be anybody. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're going on their mission, and Natalie mentions again in the car, and naturally, Mara tells the boys that they're
Of
thinking that
course.
it's Rob, and she's like, "I trust Rob. I don't trust Natalie." So, something else I found out is like you get to pick who you are riding with in the car.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if I recall, is like I don't know if it's when the numbers are like this small and then it's like who
Yeah.
you're going with, or if that's the case from the beginning, but you have a choice, I guess, who you're gonna ride with. So of course Maura is gonna ride with Rob. So
Yeah.
that's what happens. Okay. We'll take a break and we'll come back to talk about the mission. Watching our loved ones age is one of life's toughest transitions, and a lot of people are part of the sandwich generation where you have to take care of young kids and aging parents. I've been through it, and I've also seen some of my friends overwhelmed trying to balance kids, career, and home while realizing they can't do it all alone. It's a lot to carry. If you don't know where to start, Care.com is here to help you breathe again. You can browse background checked in home caregivers or explore local senior living communities. At Care.com, you'll find specialized support for everything from meal prep to support for loved ones with dementia, backed by real reviews from families just like yours. And Care.com has safety and hiring tools so you can hire with confidence. Or you can even get a senior care advisor plan and talk to a master's level social worker to build a personalized care plan. I'm partnering with Care.com because it really is an easier way to find help. For a limited time, go to Care.com and use code AltacallMaths for 20% off your initial Care.com subscription or a senior care advisor plan. That's AltacallMaths, all one word. With Care.com, start your senior care journey with confidence. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's February, and if you haven't already, that means pretty soon all around you, commercials, the grocery stores are going to be full of Valentine's candy, flowers, and of course that means lots of talk about dating and relationships. No matter what your relationship status, married, dating, single, or just focusing on you, you're right on time. Because much like adulting, we are all just trying to figure it out, and therapy can help you find your way and see more clearly where you want to be. With over 12 years of experience and industry leading match fulfillment rate, BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the US. And it works because BetterHelp has an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com. That's better, HELP.com. All right, and we're back. So the mission is a carnival where they have to strap themselves in. And when the ride stops, they must look for a bag of gold or and it has cash numbers on there. And they run back to the carousel for a spin. And whoever is left wins the shield if you are gunning for the shield or if you're gunning for cash to add to the prize pot. So this is another question that I ask my guests. Where do you stand when it comes to the missions? Because there are two camps. There are people like me, competitive reality lover. Oh my God, games. And my other guests are like, I'm just blanked out. Like, who wins? I don't care about the missions. Where do you stand on that?
I'm probably in the middle, but closer to the blanking out. Here's my problem about games is like, I love playing board games. I love games, all that stuff. But if you explain a game to me by words, I have no idea. Like, you cannot explain rules to a game to me. I have to play at least one round of a game, and then I'll understand it. But my problem is I'll understand it after the first round and then become obsessed with it and then go into the other side. So that's usually what happens to me when Alan's like, these are the rules of the game. And then like nothing happened. And I'm like, I don't know, Alan, what words are you saying? And then I watch them playing and I'm like, oh, okay. And then towards the end of the game, I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. That's how my brain functions. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. That was my entire experience with the game Monopoly Deal, which if you haven't played it, everyone go try that. That's so great. Because I was like, what are you saying to me? I don't understand anything until I played it, lost many times, and then now I'm obsessed with it. So. Yeah. Okay. So Eric and Tara can't play for medical reasons, but the way they make up for not being dizzy because they can't be spun around is they have two dummies representing them and they have to go back, unstrap them, and then run, which I think it's fair. It's a lot of time. So I think it's fair for that. And I usually point out if these are games that were played in the UK version that just ended, and this is one of the games. And part of why you see some of the games, because I'm sure some people are like, well, if they can't medically play it, why even do it at all? because money, guys. They've already done it.
Yeah.
I don't know who's first, the UK or the US, but I assume the UK. They've done it first. The set is right there. They're not going to
Yeah.
build another one. Just go with it, and
Yeah.
it's cheaper. So
Of course.
that's why that is. So the first they Rob is last. He comes back, he with a 2200 bag, and finds out that a seat, Alan says, "Oh, I forgot to tell you that a seat or two is being removed." So Rob is out. And then Rob just gets so mad, Mr. Chill, Mr. Cool, and goes hard at Mark for getting a 750 bag. And I'm like, okay, for us Love Island watchers, is this Rob? And then for Traitors watch, well, the people in the castle, the faithfuls, is this Rob like just mad that he didn't win his shield? Is this faithful behavior? Because for me, I'm like, this is Rob. Like, it
That's
didn't seem
Rob.
out of character. But Natalie is like, huh, that's weird. And Mark is like, are you yelling at me for getting a seat? Because if Rob is trying to play it off like, oh, I wanted a shield, like, you have to be on the seat to progress. But also, he didn't know that they were taking seats
Sure.
out.
Which is fine. But the thing is that I remember watching his season of Love Island and that one episode where he betrayed our girl Leah
Yeah,
and picked whatever her name was. And
Andrea.
Andrea, that's right. And that beautiful scene of Leah just mouthing, fuck you.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, fuck me. And she's like, yeah, fuck you. Right. And the girl's laughing. Like, I
Yeah.
thought this is that moment. This is that exact moment. This is that moment where, because Leah was also like, we were fine. We had great chemistry. Everything was great. Like, what happened? Why are you like, why did you switch up on me? Right.
Yeah.
And I think this was that moment too. Everybody's like, Rob, you've been super charming and nice to everybody this whole time. Like, why are you being weirdly sensitive and bizarre? Like, Rob, why are you jumping in the pool and hiding your face? Like, Rob, why are you crying and rolling your eyes and saying, now you're going to send 3 people home? Like, I think that it's so funny. Like, I think here's the thing about men, especially handsome men. Okay. You use your pretty privilege as far as you can take it. But the minute that it starts to fade, you have to lean into who you actually are as a person.
Yeah.
Who you actually are as a person is a competitive piece of shit. You've been using your charm to try to get a fast one on people. And when people don't start falling for it, it's like when handsome men don't get a woman, then they're like, she's a bitch. You're like, no, you're an asshole. Actually, that's what it is. And I think that's what we're seeing. Like, Rob is a beautiful man who has gotten through life being a beautiful man, and the fact that his beauty and charm and athleticism is not paying out for him, and he loses the first time in this entire show. This is the first time he has lost out of a mission.
Yeah.
He is crumbling, and it's like, oh, that says a lot about you, you sore loser. Still handsome, but
still
sore
handsome.
loser.
Can't take that away from him. So
Cannot
yes,
take it away from
no, we're on the same page on that. It's just the fact that Natalie is like, oh, he's overreacting, but to us, we're like, this is his regular. But either way, she's on the same page. It's the same way they still think that Jam Jam was banished for being kissed, and that's not what it was. But same thing,
Lisa kissed me. Lisa kissed me.
Oh, I can't wait for the reunion. Johnny loses the next round, and the final, it's down to Eric and Mara for the shield. Guys, Mara cannot rip these stuffed animals for shit. Everybody has to help. I think at some point, it was Natalie that was helping her, trying to curry some favor. And it's like, how many stuffed animals were harmed in this mission? A lot.
I know.
But ultimately, Eric wins. And that's good for the Traitors. In the car, Mark says, like, I still think it's Natalie and Tara. And Rob is like, I don't know. Natalie has been distant. And these are the times where I will say that Rob plays a good game, because I remember way back when Colton was saying Lisa, and he was like, it's possible. He didn't commit. He didn't say anything before he fully turned on her. He just knows how to, throw something out. But again, his advantage is no matter what he says, they're all like, give me more, sir. Yes, okay, it's fine. So he don't have to do much, but yes, he does say, like, we need to get Natalie out. And Natalie's like, Rob's acting was so bad. And now it's just about the numbers. And then she does some calculation. And I will try to break it down for you guys, because I know I had to rewind it. And she says, Rob has that stupid dagger. For 3 weeks now, I have said, I hate it. I hate it. I'm a Survivor watcher. This is not Survivor. It is not an idol. The fact that you gave it to him for 4 weeks. Yes, maybe if Natalie won the dagger, I'll be saying something different, but she didn't. It is Rob.
Mhm.
And so I'm mad because it
Mhm.
just gives, no, honestly, not honestly, whoever gets it, it's such an advantage that I don't know, for 4 weeks, that's way too long. So Rob's dagger comes with 2 votes. So that's 2 votes with Rob. Mar is basically stuck to his side. So that's 3. And
Mhm.
Johnny and Tara and Natalie make 3 votes. So that's a tie of 3-3. They have to get Eric and Mark, who they need to convince. If they're whoever sides gets them, it becomes
Yeah.
5 for that
Yeah.
side. Well, they don't have Eric, so they don't know that. But
Yeah.
so it's a loss for them. So Tara says, I mean, calmly, that he has a dagger, so she doesn't know if it's smart to go for him tonight. That is true, but listen to,
Sure.
just keep that in your back pocket for later, because yes, you want to wait, but you don't know if you're going to be alive
Yeah.
tomorrow to do
Yes.
that. But I
Yes.
understand that it's easier when he doesn't have the advantage of 2 votes, so that's what she
Yeah.
was saying. So I guess you could just let it play out and keep him. If you're convinced that he's the traitor, wait for the fire pit, and then have, she has Johnny. That's 2 people for her. And then
Mhm.
if you have
Mhm.
Natalie, and then it's just that if you let him go tonight, who becomes the target? And I think that's
Yeah.
the thing,
Yeah.
especially when Natalie, Johnny, and Tara are already under fire. So
Yeah.
it's just such a lose-lose situation
It really is.
for them. So Tara says exactly that. And Natalie says, well, one of us could be dead. So we need to pull the trigger right now. I said this last episode or 2 episodes ago that the Natalie I know, that I don't think that this game is conducive to her competitiveness, because she's
Mhm.
also not playing with other people who are game players. Right now,
Yes.
she's the only game player. And sometimes what elevates your game as a game player is other people who you're strategizing with, who's like elevating you. So I'm not saying that, yes, I am. The faithfuls are dimming her down. Like there's no one to like go back and forth with. Yes, Tara
Mhm.
told her like I think it's Rob, but after that it's like, oh, but I'm not sure. I don't trust myself. I don't know.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is not, I don't think this is like an environment for her to shine. Her
Well, I
temperament,
think
yeah.
yeah, I think actually CBS people do not do well. Well, besides the fact that Siri did win, but I think that otherwise I don't think that Big Brother players or Survivor players are good for this, because you do have to have a level of calm
Yeah.
in Traitors that
Hmm.
these guys are too cutthroat about. Like they're too
Yeah.
smart, they're too cunning, they're too, they're just too much. Like
Yeah.
even Boston Rob last year got
Yeah.
pushed out because he was too smart. Like I think that's the thing. Like you Natalie is now on a show with a bunch of people who are just like there for, like, if I think
Vibes.
about, yeah, like for vibes. Like if I really think about it, like yes, of course Dancing with the Stars, there is a competitive edge to it, sure, but it's still mostly that his job is a dancer, right?
Hmm.
Mark's job. Mara and Rob are from a show where literally the competition is making out with other people. Like it's
Hmm.
really not that competitive. You know what I mean? And being likable, like being liked. Eric, Mr. Magical Ears, magical handwriting reading has flopped, and we don't really know anything about him.
Hmm.
Tara and Johnny, because they are actual athletes, I thought that they would be 2 people that Natalie could vibe with, but I'm sorry, Johnny and Tara are athletes in like an individual sport. Like it's very different, I feel. So
Yeah.
I feel like you're absolutely right. Like I don't think that the level of like passion that Natalie has is working in her favor in this situation. But I also think there is the societal component of how people treat, and which she talks about later, like how do
Yeah.
people treat bold women,
Yes.
especially women of color, and how they're
Yes.
treated.
Yes. And there are 2 levels to this in terms of like what you said. The Survivor, I always argue that all the shows are competitive reality shows, because even Love Island, they don't like each other. They're just trying to get to the end and not get
Yeah,
voted
that's
out.
true.
So
That's
they're all
true.
trying to play a game. But Survivor and Big Brother notably are very cutthroat. And to some degree, I will say the challenge, but the challenge, I'm obsessed with the challenge.
Yeah.
Big Brother and Survivor players started I use the word infiltrating the show when they stopped
Mhm.
the real world and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And they changed the game because they came with that mentality. We have a player now, Michaela, who they don't know what to do with because she's just like, I'm not here to make friends. I'm just here
Mhm.
to compete and to win games. And even with Boston Rob, I do think it's similar to my argument for Candace, where Boston Rob was not trying to make it to the end. Boston
Mhm.
Rob was trying to give a show. And it's that combination of being a reality star and being competitive. Boston Rob
Yeah.
was dedicated to giving us a show. And that's why
Yeah.
he knew that Bob was a good sparring partner for him.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why he got him out that way. Same thing with like maybe Wes. Wes is not the best, but the
Yes.
way he went out, the way he gave them a finger and all that is being aware of the fact like, maybe I'm not going to win, but I am
Mhm.
going to give you a show. Natalie
Yeah.
doesn't have the show part. Natalie just wants to win.
Yes. You're
So
right.
that's why I'm
Yeah.
saying like it's not her environment. She took it. She was so mad. Rightfully so. We're gonna get there. But sometimes you have to realize like, hey, and that's what they bring the housewives for. And they don't have the
Yes.
strategy, but they bring the like, oh, you want a show? I'm gonna give you a goddamn show right now. So
Yeah, yeah, you're
that's
absolutely right. That's
yeah,
such a good point. That's such a good
yeah,
point. I always forget about like the and that's why I think like I don't think that this was her environment either because
yeah,
there's no nuance in
yeah.
Natalie. Natalie
Mm-hmm.
has no nuance. But
Yes.
on Big Brother and Amazing Race and
Yeah.
like Survivor, you don't need nuance.
Yes. You just
There's
need
no
to win.
nuance. You
If
just need to win.
if
Yeah.
it was just missions, oh my god. Huh?
Oh my
Look at the
god.
Dagger 6. She was the only woman who made it. Part of again why I hate the whole Dagger thing. It was built for just the men to win. So,
Ugh,
a
God, don't
whole
even get me. You want to talk
a
about
whole
googly eyes? You want to talk about googly eyes between men? That dagger mission pissed me right off.
So that's the other thing. Okay. So Mark, Tara, and Natalie are talking, and they tell Mark about the whole, we think that it's Rob, and Candace voted him, and Mark is like, you got to get Eric. And Mark is like, yes, he's noticed a shift. And I'm like, this is why Rob didn't think ahead. He needs big characters that he can
Yep.
hide behind. On Survivor and stuff, we call it a meat shield. He needs those people because right now, who are you going to hide behind? It's not Eric. He's not even talking. It's not
Yeah.
Mark. Mark is like, we're not even sure. Tara is like, am I even here? I don't know. So you don't have anybody to hide behind for people to look at. So Johnny tells Eric that, Natalie is going to go for Rob. If Eric was a gamer with balls,
Mhm.
he would
Mhm.
flip. But there's
Yes.
no doubt in my mind that he's not going to flip. So,
Mm-mm.
it's not. But this is where if this was a Survivor person or like Tony or something, he would absolutely flip.
100%. And I think that that was another thing that Rob should have done in this situation. I think instead of going after Natalie, I think he could have kept his word, like kept Natalie there as a shield for him
Mm-hmm.
and said, you know what? Guys, I mean, I haven't said anything to Eric yet, but Eric, Kristen told me and Mark last night that if she dies, that it's Eric. Like, I felt like this was a good moment for Rob to be able to throw another traitor under the bus. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is what's kind of pissing me off about Rob now at this point in the game. If you want to be a villain, if you want to take out your fellow traitors, play the whole game, do the whole thing. You should have gone in and you should have said, yeah, I set Eric up because he's not really a good team. Like, he's not a good traitor. I
Mm-hmm.
set him up because it gives another body that I can throw their way to get the scent off of me. I feel like that's why I'm annoyed with Rob this episode. Him being like, ho hum, I'm sad. Like, don't be sad. Be a badass. Like, be ruthless. You're
Yeah.
a traitor. You said to Candace, the game is called Traitors. Yeah, then be a traitor. I think that's what pissed me off about Rob this episode. It's like, I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel sad for you. You are very handsome. You look like Dennis the Menace in that stupid overall outfit. You look ridiculous. But this is where I was like, it would have been smart at this point for Rob to flip on Eric and you could have still kept Natalie. I was just bummed to see Natalie go. Like, it would have made so much more sense if he said, Tara, I know that you're throwing my name around, but I just want to tell you this is a conversation I had with Kristen last night.
Yeah.
And that would have also made Rob look like a faithful because then it would have been like, oh, here's Rob giving another, thinking about Kristen it was just so annoying. Oh, God.
Let me counter that. So
Okay.
it was inevitable that Natalie was going to go, right? But I don't know how much is being edited out and how
Yeah.
much is going on in the castle. But there's a chance that if he throws out Eric's name, that could raise suspicion.
Sure.
And
Yes.
then he turns out to be a traitor. So now every name you've mentioned has been an accurate target. And it's like, huh, what is going on here? And then there's also a chance that word could get back to Eric. And I don't have faith that Eric could do anything, but
That's what I'm saying.
in the off chance that Eric just does something and it's like, so you think it's Rob? And then it could flip on that. I think that he thinks that it will be out of character for him to suddenly just throw out Eric's name. But see, here's the thing, this is where Eric is never beating Rob is not beating the allegations that he's treating Eric differently because he's a man. Because
That's
he's
right.
being so loyal to Eric.
Mm-hmm.
He's not turning on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing anything. And to your point, which is what I said last week, is like, don't play the audience for a fool. You can
Yes.
say whatever you want, but in the confessionals, tell us that this is why I chose Eric. I can control him. I want to
Yes.
play him. And if they vote him out, they feel like they've gotten a traitor that's a man. And then I have buy myself more time and I'm here. Say it with your chest in the confessional to
That's
us.
right. That's right. And him being like, oh, I picked Eric because he's so smart. No, he's not.
No,
We
he's
know he's not. He's not smart. You picked him because he's an easy person to control. If you wanted an actual smart person as a trader with you, you would have picked Kristen Kitsch or Natalie as your fellow trader. It's just like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Rob, you were playing such a good game. It was so fun to watch you. And I was like pro Rob this whole season until he's suddenly doing this like sad boy, sweetie pie. Like, don't play us for fools, Rob. We're watching the show with you, okay? You're not charming us. Yes, you are. But you're not charming me this episode.
Well, Rob tells Mara, like, oh, we need to get Natalie out tonight, and then we'll do Tara, and then we'll do Johnny. If Mara was playing with her own brain, she would be like,
Yes.
huh, you're very confident. But here's my whole issue with this whole season is the inconsistency. Why
Yeah.
is Rob able to say that and
Yep.
nothing is happening? But, Candace says it. Ron said, Portia says something. Oh my God, why did you say that? It's because
Yes.
this is so suspicious. He said, but he says it and it's like, it's just another day. But it's
I
like
know.
he's confident that we get this person today, we get this person tomorrow. Like Natalie is like, are we gonna be here tomorrow? I don't know if we wait, but he's just like, we'll do this in this order. So Johnny says, we're all on Natalie. They were all on Natalie, and it's like, they're smarter than I am, so they're probably right. And I'm like, I feel so bad for him and Tara.
Oh.
Like, they're just so defeated at this point. And the same with Tara. Tara is like, I'm scared to make a bold move in case I'm wrong because I have been wrong this whole time. So what do I do? But the problem is, all the faithfuls have been wrong. They've only got traitors because Rob led them there. Well,
Yes.
except Lisa, kind of. But yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's what's bothering me is like you guys are not putting the pieces together. That like even Lisa, the first, again, that sweaty vote that Rob did, oh, I don't know. I don't want to vote. So I'm putting down Lisa. Like, please. Okay. I'm so annoyed. And I think, a lot of it has to do with how good he is at missions and how charming he is. And the reason why they're thinking it could be him this episode is because he's not charming them anymore.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take another quick break and come back to talk about the round table. Okay, and we're back. So, Rob says for the round table, it's going to be tough, but they need to get Natalie out. And then I'm like, did Eric not share with Rob that there was sus on him, or we just didn't see the conversation? What is happening?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I mean, it's possible that he didn't because he's probably just sitting in some corner sweating.
It's like, is it time to go home yet?
Oh my God.
Alan reminds them that this is the last round table where the banished person can reveal their status. So no one wants to speak, and Rob speaks and kind of throws Natalie's name out, and she says the same thing about him. And like you mentioned earlier, and I just want to remind people, Kristen actually explicitly said that if I get killed, look at Eric. And not a sus is on Eric. I'm not even talking about Rob this time. I'm just
talking about Mark. Mark, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You should have said something. You should have said, hey, by the way, Kristen did say this thing last night. If you're a true faithful and you're playing with everybody, right? Because look at the numbers, Mark. It's not that it's just like you, Rob, Eric, and Mara are the only faithfuls here because he doesn't trust Johnny, he doesn't trust Tara, and he doesn't trust Natalie. You think it's 3 traitors and 4 faithfuls left? Do the fucking math. It doesn't work that way. Like, watch one single season of the show that you're about to be cast on, for God's sake. But the fact that Mark just sat there, I was like, that is, Mark, you can't be like, Eric didn't say anything when you also didn't say anything. Like, I was so annoyed. I was like, why is nobody bringing this up? It drove me nuts.
The other part is the thing I've been saying for weeks is like, it can't be a woman again, guys. Look at a man. They just, we got 2 women traitors. Yes, they could make it 3 women, but the fact that no one's even like, maybe it's gonna be a man or something. I at this point, it's just wrap it up. Let's just end this.
Wrap it up.
Natalie says she's suspicious of Rob and, brings up the whole Candace thing again. And Rob asks, does anybody want me to defend myself? I'm like, Rob, please, the theatrics, please.
The theatrics.
And Mark says, the thing is, if anyone would have a strategy, it'll be Candace. Like, she's really smart. Eric says nothing. Rob says, like, she just did a half-ass vote, nothing. And before he could even finish, he's pocket rocket. Mara is like, no, it wasn't a thing. Sorry, a thing. So, so I mean, he's maybe this is the answer to our question. This is why he's keeping Mara. Like, she's just never gonna turn against him. And then Natalie throws Tara's name out, and this is, it's frustrating because Tara is just backing away. From the beginning, she looked like a very scared bird. She's just confused. And Natalie's the one speaking, taking the heat. It's almost the way Natalie interprets it is that Tara dropped it at her feet and laid her out to the birds to dry and just like to hang, and didn't even back her up. Johnny didn't even say a word. Johnny's like, I didn't commit to nothing. Don't put me into this. But there are 2 sides to look at this. In actuality, in fact, I don't know, for lack of a better word, Tara did leave her out to dry. Like, she did. That was their word. And I know she did say, tonight is not a good day, maybe to vote for Rob. Maybe we don't have the numbers. But I do think she should have had an explicit conversation with Natalie and say, hey, I am with you. I really do think it's Rob, but I don't think it's a good idea to do it today. So let's maybe hold off on that. So I'm not going Rob today. Yeah. Just to be explicit, because you can't blame Natalie for hanging out with you all day, being in the car all day. You brought it to her. You convinced her. And then Mara's going to her like, what? You so annoying. Mara's so annoying in this season. You're going to go with Tara's plan, because in some way I'm like, is that shade to Tara? Like, I mean, Tara of all people, like, you're smarter than that. Yeah. Why would you go for her? And no one's backing Natalie up. And you're just like, whoa. No, I didn't. And it's just, I understand that. And then when you add, not to make it heavy, but based on her speech, like, past traumas and all the things that was going on, and it's like, wow, like, almost like, those movies where they ask a girl on a date, but they have no intention to go on a date with her. They were just, a prank. That's how she took it. It's like, I thought I was in an alliance, in a team. Yes. And you guys didn't even back me up, and I'm talking and you're making me sound crazy. And it was a lot of hurt. I know it came off as no, she was, annoyed, but you could see the hurt with Natalie in that situation.
I agree. And I think that was a big thing, right? For Natalie is like, Johnny and Tara are very much a team. Yeah. Johnny and Tara are a team. The fact that Tara is coming to Natalie and telling her that she thinks it's Rob, Natalie's assumption is Johnny's also on the same side because they're all but together, right? You've outed yourself. You came out to the world as best friends. Now I'm assuming that now I'm part of your friendship, because besides you, the only person that I have been vibing with has been Rob. Now Rob is being weird to me and you guys are pulling me into your circle. I'm assuming that you're going to have my back. Yeah. And then for her to, like, Tara is the one that brought this up to Natalie to start with. Natalie never said, I think it's Rob. Tara said, hey, I have this idea. What do you think about this? And Natalie then goes into the mission with that in mind, starts clocking Rob's behavior. She's now convinced herself because Tara convinced her. Like, I thought that it was so shitty of Tara Lipinski to do that. Like, I was so disappointed in her for doing that to Natalie. And then I think the whole like gaslighting people at the round table and being like, oh, but like, I just like wasn't sure. You can't do that shit. Stand 10 toes in what you were saying to me like 6 hours ago, dude.
Yeah.
Don't act brand new. I hate
Yeah.
that shit.
Yes. It was just a little painful to watch.
Yes,
Because
100%.
because on the flip side also, we all know, like, at this point, Tara doesn't trust her shadow. She
Yeah.
does not even trust anything. And I can only imagine how scared she was. And this was completely out of her depth. This is
Yes.
reality. This is actual reality TV show. And she's like, I'm just a skater. Like, I don't
Yeah.
get me out of here in this. But the least she could have done was back her up. At least still say, like,
Yeah.
yes, I do think it's Rob, but right now, like, say like he has a dagger. He has two daggers. I don't think we can get him out right now. So I
Yeah.
just didn't think, and I mentioned to you in the van that I don't think today is a good day. So as much as I love to back you up, I just don't think it is. But also on the
Yeah.
flip side, just vote for Rob. I mean, what's gonna happen? You don't want to
Yeah.
stay anyways. So either way, I think that she left Natalie out to dry. But I think the combination of Natalie's past and everything, it was just much bigger for her.
Yes.
But it's so annoying. Everyone likes to say it's just a game, but it's not. It's
No,
not always
it's
just
not.
a game. So Natalie says that she is so easily sketched that they can just flip flop this way. And Maura's like, you guys have nothing. You have nothing. But also, Johnny didn't even speak for Tara, to be honest.
No.
He also left her out to dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Natalie's also like, listen, I put my guard down. I was willing to put the name of the guy I've been backing up, and you guys can't even do that. That's insane. And that she's sorry for letting her guard down and not talking to other people, because the thing they're using against her is like, oh, so they told you this and you didn't even come to me to say anything. And it's the fact that she's even apologizing for that. And I'm just like, don't. You're on the right path. But Rob uses his dagger power, and Natalie is so angry. And I feel like I saw Rob looking over at who she's writing. And I was like, are they allowed to do that?
I don't know, but I think that they all do probably do that.
Yeah.
I mean, as a viewer, I'm bizarrely listening to the strokes of their chalk to figure out who they're
Which
voting
direction?
for.
What letter is that? Over there. Okay, so Natalie, our vengeance queen, she voted for Tara. Like, you pissed me off. I'm voting for you. And the rest of them just vote for Natalie. And I, again, completely understand why she was mad and felt played. Before Johnny reveals his vote, Natalie's like, please don't say I'm sorry. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to do it. And he's like, you could tell he was pissed. He was like, well, Natalie. I was like, she's right, though. Like, what is the speech? If it's not you, if you don't believe it, don't do it. I just,
yeah. Yeah. Even Tara being
that.
like, I don't think that Natalie is a traitor, but I just did this because you pissed me off. Girl, that's dumb. You're an idiot for doing that.
Because worst case scenario, okay, if it's a tie or whatever happens, or if you get Rob out, so what? Then you've gotten the person you truly believe is out. If you don't get him out, you're still in the same situation.
I'm not going to lie. I don't think that anybody realizes that there is that fire pit at the end of this show. I don't think they realize it. I genuinely think they thought this is the last moment that we have to vote out a traitor. I don't think they remember, because maybe they're like me and they don't listen to instructions and they need to play a game in order to learn it, because they're all, I was like, if you don't think it's Natalie, don't vote her out, put in Rob. Like you said, worst case scenario, tomorrow you feel differently and you think that it is Natalie, then during the fire pit, you throw out the thing to say, keep the game going. I'm going to vote out. Like, guys, God, watch one season of the show that you are about to be on. I beg of you.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other question to ask, like, we're not going to answer it, I'm just throwing it out there, is like, what is the thing that makes you want to risk getting Natalie out when you deep down don't even think it's her over Rob? Why not flip it and take that risk and see what happens if it is Rob? And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right. But Natalie gives a speech, and I want to say verbatim what she said, because I don't know, I just thought it was important. And she's like, my whole life, I've wanted to be strong. I tried to present as tough, but presenting as tough comes with the negative of being judged, being seen as ruthless, cutthroat. But today, a gamer got played, and I'm a faithful. And she just walked off, and that's it. Mark is like, he threw his slate into the middle of the thing. I was like, honestly, you should, because you, of all the people, had it in your hands that you could have said it. And the thing I find so strange is how these people are so confident. You cannot rule out anybody.
No.
So when you come on Traitors and you rule out completely, even the most faithful of the faithful, it just annoys me. Everyone, because at this point you have two people have been recruited. You don't know. Everyone has a possibility to be a traitor.
Yes.
When they're
Yep.
talking about things so freely, oh, I think this is one in how many chances that you are talking to a traitor? Why are
Yes.
you so open, so free? And number one rule of traitors should be never rule out anybody. I don't
Yes.
care how
Yes.
it is. So anyway, Tara must doubt herself to negative the 1,000 right now because she was already at zero and now she's in the negatives. And Tara just says, truthfully, I don't want to play anymore. She feels like a fool. She's okay being murdered and she's crying. And Mark is consoling her and they're telling her it's a game. And I mean, I don't have that. My sympathy is not as high as maybe others. Like, I get
Nope.
it, but you threw her out and it's not fair. And yes, you can cry. And that's what Natalie is saying is like, just because I don't cry doesn't mean I don't hurt. It's like, just because I'm not crying doesn't mean I don't bleed. So
Yeah.
you could have just done more, I
Yep.
think. Like, it
I
just
agree.
wasn't a nice feeling for that. So Rob says that this was his toughest roundtable, but he had to do what he had to do. That is the Rob we know.
Yep.
So this man goes to lie down with Mark on the pool table.
Oh my God.
He's like,
I've watched too much Heated Rivalry because I was like, just kiss each other.
Nora's out there writing her own romantic fantasy out here.
All the time. Anytime I see two good looking men together, I'm like, you probably just want to kiss each other. And you should. You'll be so much happier if you did.
And he says, like, Mark is like, it's not Tara. But then he points out, like, oh, Eric said nothing tonight. I was like, now you say it?
Yeah.
Now?
Thanks, Mark.
Now?
Thanks. Oh, now suddenly you remember? You idiot.
But
I was so
again, these are
annoyed.
the things because I just feel like earlier in the game, we saw so many people called out for less. And now we're just like, people are doing sus things and we're just like, oh, well, and we're shrugging
Yeah.
and moving on from that. And
Yeah.
it's like, why? It's clutch
Yep.
time right now.
Yeah. Exactly.
So Johnny says in the confessional, like, it's Rob and Eric.
Oh, you think so? Well, you didn't say or do anything about it.
I think it makes it worse that he said nothing and now it's Rob and Eric. But I will
Yes.
give grace that maybe he's now very convinced now that we know that it's not Natalie.
Sure,
So,
maybe.
No, but they knew. They knew before it. I shouldn't give grace. That's what it was.
No.
They knew.
Get out of here.
So they get into the turret and Eric is like, this is a great traitor partnership because he won the shield. He's contributing to this. So over there, because they're all so enamored by Rob, he's like, Eric. He tells Rob, you crushed it. I was like, what did he do?
Did he?
Had sus on him. And Rob tells him, like, dude, you didn't say anything at the round table.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I didn't want to. He was like, you got to say something.
Yeah.
You can't just be silent. And Alan comes in and tells him, like, your last kill is going to be a scorcher. I wish I had a good Alan accent. I do not. But again, I keep saying like he's in a one-man play when he's on the Traitors. So he says they will all be outside and he will reveal who they have murdered in front of everyone. And they have to make sure they act surprised. So this might be the first time we're getting a warning that Alan is telling the Traitors, like, okay, guys, you need to step it
because
up.
he didn't with the with the dinner. He didn't tell them. So yeah. I wish that he didn't. I wish that he didn't give them a heads up because
that's
you're
part of
making
it.
it too easy for them.
Yes, that's part of it. You're just like, who reacted who? It's like when you get the blindfolds off, who is acting sus or who is not. No. So I wonder why they made the choice to tell them ahead of time. Well, I mean, they've done that sometimes if it's going to be no, they do it in front of everyone. I'm just out here thinking out loud in front of Noor. But
yeah, no, it's fine. Of course, that's why we love it. That's what we do.
Yeah. Okay, but that's happening. So I think we'll get a better idea when we see exactly visually how it's going next week when they're doing the announcement. So Rob says he's more sensitive than people think. They go through who their options are to kill, and they were like, Mara will be a great traitor move. Mark will be 2 in a row for Eric. At least for me, I'm thinking like if they kill Mark, that would be the second person that has had suspicion on Eric that they're now killing and the person dies. But does it matter right now? I don't know.
No.
But as Alan rings the bell, everyone is doing their best Young and the Restless edition, like all the rest of the faithfuls, all like in their fake rooms. And they come out to see that the cuffing is out there. And we are left on a cliffhanger. I do want to note that in the next week or coming through, only Johnny, Eric, and Rob spoke. We saw visuals of the
Oh.
rest of them, but I'm like, only Johnny, Eric, and Rob spoke. So I don't know. I could be reading into it. They could be throwing us up for a loop, but that is what happened, and I don't know. I don't know where it could go. I mean,
No. I think that a smart move for Rob would be to get rid of Maura, because if you get rid of Maura, then at least your guilty conscience is clear. Like, you were a villain throughout. You even got rid of your bestie. I
yeah.
think that for Rob being in the finale and then having to tell Maura that he is a traitor, I think that that would be, from a production standpoint, dramatic and so fun to watch. But I think from like a personal side, I wonder if like Rob is starting to feel the guilt of that. He doesn't want to do that to Maura. And again, he doesn't have a use for Maura anymore. She's no longer needed in his voting, right? So he can get rid of her. Well, no, at the fire pit, you're right.
Yes. Yeah, at the fire
Yeah,
pit, that's one number.
that's true.
She's
That's
not
true.
going to do that. Well, if they kill Tara, do people think it's Johnny?
Well, I think that if they
trying
kill
to
Tara, then Johnny doesn't have a vote to protect him anymore, right? Like, to your point that they do still vote around the fire pit,
yeah.
I think that you always know that Tara and Johnny are going to vote the same way. So I think it's important for Traitors to split that duo up and maybe get rid of Tara or Johnny. And I think even if they believe that Johnny isn't a traitor or whatever, right? Like, you know what I just realized? If they do kill Tara, they would be like, well, Johnny heard her say, I don't want to play this game anymore. And so he just killed her.
But how about Mark? Is Mark going to wake up fully? Like, he's just rousing from sleep right now. Is he going to be fully awake?
No, because I think that Mark is another one that Rob has in his pocket. I think that he saves Mark. I think he saves Mark. Now I'm really leaning into it maybe being Tara who gets killed, and then them being like, it's Johnny, because Johnny felt bad for her because she was crying after the last banishment.
I want Rob to win for the sole reason of seeing their faces when he says, I'm a traitor.
I do too. Of course.
I want that. I don't know if there's an English word for that. I want that feeling. It's like
what's the non-English word that you're thinking
there's
about?
No non-English word. I just said that because that's the
language. Is there another word in another language? I'd love to hear it.
There isn't. I know, when it came out of my mouth, I was like, why did I specifically say non-English? I mean, the English word for that. But I don't know if there's a word for that. But I want that feeling. But it's similar to the feeling of like when they're so convinced like it's a person and they go up there and they're just like, I'm a faithful. And you're just like, oh. And you have to rethink your whole entire existence. So I want to see this, and I just want to see what everyone has to say about how they play the game. So
yeah. For sure.
Okay. Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you for talking Traitors with me. Can you share with people where they can find you?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a delight. This is exactly how I want to be spending my weekend mornings, is talking about Traitors. You can find me everywhere podcasts are heard. The Reality Is Pod. I also have like clips and stuff on YouTube. And you can find me everywhere on social media. Actually, not everywhere, only 2 places. It's just Threads and Instagram at The Reality Is Pod, because I don't use any other apps, because that's just me.
Well, you can find me. You know where to find me. It is Alticall MAFS on all the socials, but I live tweet on Threads what I am watching. Yes, I use my Mark spoiler feature sometimes. Yes. And please give me a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and stay subscribed so you don't miss out on any new episodes. Until next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.